Welcome everybody, Don Giannetti, Lighting Essentials, Project 52, and we are looking at photographs. Our first photographer lives over in Spain and cannot be here, but she sent this for me to read to you about her photograph. This is a photo I took for a CD cover. The title of the CD is Solace and was to go along with a track of the same name. The tune is very dark with a simple melody that conjures up for me almost apocalyptic type imagery, a bit like McCarthy's The Road, but with an eerie beauty and stillness. I was visiting Matt's parents in Rapid City, and though the Badlands of South Dakota, thought the Badlands of South Dakota would be the perfect setting. We entered the park via the local farming dirt road, so we were far from the tourist loop because I didn't want to get any of the usual iconic images in the national park. The sky was stormy, but the sun was out between light showers. I like the juxtaposition between the bright sun and the dark, brooding landscape. The U.S. West fascinates me, and I'll never tire of visiting it and photographing its magnificent landscapes. F22, ISO 160, 1/250th. It was a fun morning driving around, and we even saw a Wile E. Coyote trying to hunt prairie dogs. Actually, he was looking for a roadrunner, but you may not be familiar with Wile E. Coyote. This is the photograph of Alex. Wow. Does the job, Alex. Beautiful job, I think. Absolutely. Uh, Remember, folks, this is not a normal critique session from Lighting Essentials. This is basically show and share. Does anyone else have something they'd like to say about Alex's photograph? It's just beautiful, Alex. I love the way that these clouds are getting a little bit of rain coming down, or maybe it's Virga coming down, and dark, dark mountains. So that's the Badlands, huh? Anybody?
I like her
Certainly
choice
has
of
melancholy written on it.
Say it again. Who's written on it?
Certainly has melancholy written all over it.
It doesn't look like a very hospitable place, does it?
Definitely not. Looks inhospitable to say the least.
And the name of the cut, this was the album, is Solace. Interesting. Or Solace, I guess, would be the way to pronounce that word. Very
It's a
nice.
very nice shot.
Very nice.
They definitely see the
Next up, we have Andy Stevens. Andy, we'll let you tell us about your shot.
this one's of the kiddo. She had, I think I wrote this to you, Don. She had just turned 6 and was trying out her
Well, hard to hear.
You're you're a little faint, Andy. You a little closer to the mic.
Yeah, sorry, this mic's not that great.
There we go.
Yeah, she was going outside to try out her new 6-year-old bullheadedness. This was early May, and she decided she was going to go to the pool no matter what. So after telling her that the pool was not open, she decided she would go outside and told us she was going to wait for summer. And fell asleep in the process, and I was able to find this just waiting out on the front steps for me, and snuck in, got my camera, was able to shoot it. And yeah, it reminds me, the time with her being a little person slipping away, and usually the only time I really get to see her is when I take photos of her because she's always in motion.
Wow. Beautiful shot. How old is she?
Well, she's 10 now, going on 11 or 18, close to it. It seems like. But yeah, she turned 11 Thursday. She was, like I say, she was 6 in this photo, and boy, I tell you what, full of hard-headedness and tell you straight up what she was going to do and what she wasn't.
Wow. Beautiful shot. What is it? Digital or film?
It's digital. Yeah, I don't remember the settings for it. I think I was down somewhere around F3 or 4 to get the legs and stuff to fade out. Had my the 70 to 200.
Beautiful. Stunning. That shallow depth of field right here on her face and her eyelashes. Very nice. And even though it's a
Oh,
long telephoto, you still manage to fill the frame. You got the same distance here as you have over here. You just pulled it right in there. Nicely done.
Thanks, Don.
You said 200
I love
millimeters?
the eyelashes
Aren't they great?
and the sweet little pouty mouth. I think it's adorable.
Yeah, I think she was snoring.
He was waiting for summer.
Yeah.
Very nice.
There's a photo called Sunbaker by Max Tapain from the 1930s. It reminds me of that. He was an Australian modernist photographer.
Sunbaker?
Sunbaker, all is one word, Sunbaker. 1937 it says, so obviously in black and white, but this photo reminds me of that.
Neat.
Cool. Yeah, I just saw that one. That's great.
Very nice. Very nice. And next up, we have Brett Doss. Brett, this is part of your series on the leaves, right?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, this is actually the very first one. It was shot about 4.5 years ago. It was about 6 months after my father had passed away, and I hadn't been much in the mood to shoot for a while, and it got to be fall, and so I thought I'd go out and shoot some fall color and cheer myself up. And so I was out there, and it wasn't happening. The color was there, I wasn't feeling it. And I just happened to look straight down at my feet, and I saw this. And so it just grabbed me, and I shot it. And then I got home, and as part of working with this image, I finally got the black and white look I've been trying to get out of digital for a couple of years that I wanted. And so this set off all of a sudden I was super obsessed. And for about 3 months, this was also after work, and it was twilight. And so for about 3 months, I go out every evening with my 105 macro and my DF at sometimes 12,800 ISO, and I just find leaves similar to this in the twilight and shoot them.
Cool.
Wow.
I kind of couldn't stop doing it, and then I hit a point where I couldn't keep doing it. It just felt like it was done.
Yeah, I know you've got is it still on your website, your portfolio?
Yeah.
Of this stuff? Yeah. If you haven't seen it over at Brett Doss's website, you should see what he did for that 6-month period. Beautifully done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've seen it. They're very beautiful.
Thank you.
I like how you're actually forcing us. Now these leaves are not dead, right? This is a kind of a dead leaf caught in the ferns or something.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of plant that is, but there's a lot in the Seattle area. There's a lot of stuff that just stays green all winter, and
I think that's called green stuff.
yeah, that's
Yeah. So this is caught down in the green stuff. Interesting. And the camera just pulls out all this detail. I love this right here. And the holes in the leaf. I think it's a beautiful shot. Brett, have you printed this and framed it?
I have not. I have one other shot I took that same day that would sort of finish the series, and I plan to do maybe a book with it or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't been ready to process that last shot yet. So,
Well, when you do, I would definitely tell you to process one of these bad boys and make a nice big print. Try a metal print if you think about it.
Hmm.
That could be very cool.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Thank you.
I love your leaf photos, Brett.
Thank you.
Our next one up is Ben.
Hey. And for the last picture, I had to step away. That picture of the leaves was amazing. I wasn't purposely ignoring it, but I just wanted to say that was some good stuff there.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So this is I was asked to shoot for a company who is still in Fort Worth, Texas, trying to put together a pay-as-you-can restaurant. They're based on donations and any type of grant work they can do, so that the homeless community and the disadvantaged community can come in, get a warm meal, pay what they can. If they can't pay anything, help out in the back with doing dishes, running some trash out to the dumpster, that type of thing. The name of the group itself is called the Taste Project, and it's a spinoff of the Bon Jovi style of pay-as-you-can restaurant, with the glaring exception that Doug and Julie Phillips, the founders of Taste Project in Texas, they're going to run 7 days a week, typically 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. So I was asked to shoot their inaugural fundraiser dinner. And as the lady that you see on her cell phone in the background was one of the staff that was working the event. This was way early in the setup for the event. And this also happened to be the first set of images that I ever made with my 5D Mark II. So I chose the camera that I had never shot with to do this. And when I saw, I believe her name was Maria, when I saw her in the back, and I just happened to be where I was, this wasn't a predestined shoot. I thought the conflict between the fact that one of 6 people doesn't know where their next meal is coming from, set against a table full of wine glasses or water glasses, depending on how you look at them, and with a woman in the background on a cell phone, the duality of the fact that we can't see the rich lady in the back. Where I'm making that assumption, it wasn't necessarily true, but neither, if we can't see her, she can't see one of the 6 people that weren't going to possibly eat that night. Although she's in real life, she's entirely a part of the program and understands that people can't eat. That was the duality I was trying to get in the shot.
Okay, very good. I like where you positioned her between these 2 doorways. Doorways are, always metaphorical, right?
Yes, sir.
Doorways and windows. They have a place in our narrative, and she's right between 2 of them. This one's dark, that one's bright. I mean, it's all you can. After the fact, we can come up with so many things.
And the doorways, to be honest, I wanted her to the left of the doorway. The window itself, that just made itself apparent after I called down and got to this image. So I can't take credit for that.
What was the lens choice?
It was a 24-105 at f4. I opened it up as far as I could get it, and I was probably about 3 feet from the card that was actually on every table. So it's, I want to say, based on it being handheld and some of the jitter that you can see, I was probably at maybe, I don't know, 1/100th of a second. And I know for a fact that the ISO was at 400.
Did you see that announcement by Canon yesterday? Friday, on the firmware update that'll take that 24-105 and make it a 2.8 in the firmware?
No.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just.
That would have been the steal of the century, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we found. Hey, all that depth of field is just software. Well, we got it covered for you. Nicely done, Ben.
Thanks.
Who is next? This is intriguing. I know who this is. This is Carol. Carol was down in the Narrows.
Well, this isn't actually the Narrows because the Narrows were closed. This is in Canterville, Slot Canyon, north of Kolob Canyon, in the northern part of Zion. And this was coming out. And we were fortunate to be able to go. The Narrows were, the water was running too high, but going through this canyon, it really brought, really made it evident what the warnings they have for flash floods, because there was just really no way you would get out. And
it's interesting. I wish I could find some video on YouTube. I know that people have gotten some video of some of the flash floods in there, but they've come back in after flash floods and found the water like up here level. Wow. I mean, just nothing survives. Tree branches, anything that's in the canyon is just pulverized, because the water isn't like rushing straight. It's just bouncing off the walls. So it's just pulverized. But it's so fascinating.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was just amazing. It was our first experience. And I think I mentioned in class on Monday, last Friday, that we rented the shoes, the heavy rubberized shoes, and the neoprene socks and the stick. And so when we were coming through, I was in, that's my husband, and he's carrying my gear, and I just had him kind of stop and looking to do finding that a lot of the images from this trip, the better ones are ones with a human element. And as amazing as the canyon was, I think it was really important to have someone in the shot to give it perspective.
Yes, I think that's something that we're seeing more and more of in wilderness and landscape photographs, is the introduction of a human for scale, just for sheer scale. Love the processing, all of the rich browns in here, and then, as we get back up here, getting the red from the sky, really nicely processed.
Thanks.
I love the red in his jacket, and then the red up at the top. It kind of ties it in together.
Thanks. This actually was taken with my iPhone. And because he's got my camera on his back, and I did shoot some long exposure in the canyon, but the water was just too rough. I wouldn't be by myself. I mean, we weighted it down and stuff, but this was we were on our way out. We knew that there were some towards, getting later in the day, they had like 30% chance of rain or something. So we were timing it to be done. But I was just floored with this. I told you I got the iPhone 7 Plus before the trip, and it's just, I shot it with the Vivid HDR app, but that's not what this image is. That gives you the HDR, each of the shots, the separate exposures, and then I think it kind of overdoes it. So I just took did some blending with the different exposures and played with it. But what I do like is that this was the rendition of it is what the experience was. It's not
kind of scary that it came off of an iPhone, isn't it?
It's just freaking me out. I hate to admit it.
I know what you mean. Looking at my Nikon and Canon and iPhone shots, the iPhone 7 shots, all in one folder, and it's both exhilarating and scary at the same time. Because this is iPhone 7, folks. It's not the iPhone 10. God only knows what the iPhone 10 will bring us.
I mean, what I love about this, we kind of discovered this a couple years ago when we went down to Havasu Falls, and just like I think I mentioned, these trips for us are hiking trips with some photography.
Mhm.
So keeping that in mind, the challenge of, and you know, with stuff on your back, it's just, I'm not going to be carrying that camera around my neck for 10 miles. And so the iPhone has just been unbelievable. And so I was so pleased with the iPhone 6 images from Havasu that and when you were talking about your iPhone, decided to do the upgrade before, and really just, I mean, even when just kind of blowing it up, I can't believe the quality of the image.
Well, I printed an 11. Well, it's 17 inches tall print here on my printer from the iPhone, and oh my, it's really nice, really nice. And I didn't do any, noise editing or anything. I'm telling you, folks, that photography is changing so rapidly, and this is a wonderful shot. Whether it was taken on a Nikon, a Canon, an iPhone, a Fuji, it doesn't really matter. It's a great shot. Beautifully done, Carol.
Thank you.
Hey, Don, can you go back for a sec? I have a question of the last photo.
Yeah.
Is the face directly behind your husband? Was that a natural feature, or is that somehow a watermark? Do you see the long-haired face directly behind him?
No.
Formed in the triangle, the dark triangle, up, and then because if it almost looks like a
2 eyes in the face here.
No. Keep coming down directly behind the backpack, Don.
Right here?
Right there. Up. Yep. There would be a cheek.
Mm-hmm.
Get a load of that.
Yeah, it looks like a ghost.
Wow.
Good thing he moved. That thing was going to eat him. No, it's the amazing way the rocks. Have you been there? Who was asking that question? Was that Ben?
It was.
Ben, have you been to Zion?
Have not yet.
I got to tell you, it's so fascinating. I could stand right where he is with my 8x10 camera and just shoot these rock faces. Just the rock. It's just incredible. And then when you realize, when you're standing and looking at some of the biggest mountains, or whatever you want to call them, in Zion, and then, it sort of hits you. It's not a mountain. It's a rock. It's a single rock.
Wow.
It's phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. Really neat, Carol. That brings up a lot of emotion.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Oh, I didn't say whose picture this was. This is Cody.
Hello.
Hi, Cody. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
This is my grandkid. He was just shy of his 3rd birthday, and I had been watering my plants, and he kept asking me to let him help me. And so I told him, yeah, when I'm done, I'll let you do it. So I gave him the hose, and I turned the water off, and so he was just playing with whatever was left in the hose, and then it ran out, and he just kept watering supposedly the plants, and then he went to the pool area, and my husband saw him. So he saw that he still thought he had water in there. So he goes, get your camera, and then I'm going to go and turn on the hose. I said, okay. So I grabbed the camera, and he ran and turned on the hose, and it took him a second to realize that he actually had water rushing out, and he turns to look at me with that face, and that's the only frame I took of that. And that's my favorite picture. It's not like very technically perfect or anything, but that's my favorite picture.
No, I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean. If you're running out of the house, you can only, because it's on fire, and you can only grab one picture, you'd be surprised how many of us won't grab that, that picture of Zion, or that picture of Bryce Canyon, or your portfolio of pictures you shot for department stores. You grab pictures of the kids.
Yeah, and it's just amazing. I just love that picture. I have not yet printed it, because honestly I forgot. I see it every now and then, I think about it, but I always say, I'm going to print it tomorrow, or I'll make send it this weekend or something. And
I worry about our photographs if we don't print them? I mean,
I've been printing
just
a
having
bunch
a
of them.
just having a print isn't going to, make sure that it lives on. But it wouldn't take much of a disaster. I mean, even a small disaster, and like even a localized EMP or a solar flare from the sun, and billions of photographs will be lost forever. Just lost.
I've been printing, but I'm not up to that year yet. I'm up to 2012. So I've been going through like thousands of pictures and selected them and just printing like 4x6s to put in albums.
Yep.
So I've been doing that. I just haven't gotten to that one yet because that one was taken in 2014 and I'm only up to 2012. So I'm almost there. But I want to print that one like in a bigger a bigger frame or something.
That'd be nice. That'd be very nice.
That's it.
Lovely.
That's my favorite.
Very lovely. Very nice. Let me ask Brett a question. Brett, are you there?
Yeah, had to get unmuted there. Sorry.
You're probably as technical a guy as I know. If there's an EMP from the sun, a big solar flare with a giant EMP along with it, does that wipe out the hard drive or just wipe out the mechanics that drive the hard drive?
I am not sure. I don't think I'm not aware of EMPs from the sun, although solar flares.
Solar flares will cause EMPs, electromagnetic pulses.
The EMP stuff that I'm slightly familiar with is actually caused by nuclear weapons,
right?
And so that can destroy the electronics if it's not designed to withstand it. I used to work on a thing that had to be designed to withstand it, and it's not simple.
No, it's not. No, and I wonder, does it wipe out the data, or just the drive that holds the data? That would be. I mean, can you imagine if it wiped out the data? It would just.
I don't know its effect on like a magnetic disk. I know that at one time they were using magnetic core memories and not disks or solid state memory in fighter planes and any kind of military memory system, because magnetic core memories are like a woven sheet of little magnetic donuts, if you will. And the thing you have to do is balance out the wire direction so that currents cancel each other out. Otherwise, they rewrite the magnetics. And it was a really intricate process. And I would assume, but I do not know, that most solid state electronics just gets fried because there's no way to balance that.
Yeah. No, the cost would be too prohibitive. We couldn't go and buy a computer if it was like that.
Yeah, if you may remember, people at my age might remember that a Russian pilot defected to Japan with a MiG in the 70s, I think.
Yeah.
And everybody was scoffing because the Russian MiG had vacuum tube type equipment in it. And what they didn't realize is that vacuum tube type equipment is rad hard, and so an EMP wouldn't take it out. And so that wasn't in there by accident; it was there on purpose.
Interesting. Thanks, Brett.
It's about as far off topic as we should go, probably, right?
And it really wasn't on topic because we actually have donuts. You mentioned donuts.
Oh, donuts! I can't remember what we were talking about. I just see donuts.
I think we were talking about donuts.
Donuts to distract everyone.
Yes. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Don. So I've got something that is completely different to things that I normally shoot.
Yeah, it is.
I was kind of looking through some of the stuff I've shot recently to see what I had that was different to what I normally put up in the the critiques on the weekends, and I came across this one. So I was kind of just, I don't know, playing around one day after browsing through galleries on Behance, and created this one.
Nice. Like how this pink donut plays off this pink over here. Sort of salmon-y pink.
Yeah. Yeah, the donut that's on the left, when I was actually in the store, the frosting on it actually looked more like a gray, which is why I went for the gray background, but it's actually kind of a pale pink, so it doesn't match perfectly.
Yeah, you could Photoshop that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could take it down if you wanted. I'm just not sure how appetizing a gray donut would be, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I think it was just probably the fluorescent lights in the display case, the Krispy Kreme.
Add green to that color there, you're going to end up with gray. Yep.
Yeah, so that's probably why it looked gray when I was buying it. And I thought, I've got a gray background and I've got a pink background. That'll be perfect together. But yeah, didn't quite work out like that.
Big softbox over the top.
Regardless.
This one is actually it's actually just window light coming in from the left. It's quite a distance away from the window. Because yeah, I was just playing around and kind of testing an idea, so I didn't go right to setting up equipment and photographing properly. It was just a concept test, I guess.
Cool. Jay, you had something to say?
I thought it came out very well. You know, the pink in both of the donuts. One's more pronounced. It's more pronounced against the one against the gray background than the one that's got the nuts or whatever it is on the other side. But I think the tones really are excellent. The only thing I would say is that it looks like the paper is slightly off the surface on the top and the bottom of the pink, and that would be the only thing I would change. I think it balances beautifully.
Okay, yeah, this is basically straight out of the camera. I haven't actually done any cleanup or retouching to it, except for a little bit of rotation because I wasn't perfectly straight. So yeah, with the paper and stuff like that, that's something that I need to go into Photoshop and get a clone stamp out and fix up.
You know what I do? I think I just grab a section of this gray right here.
Yeah.
And move it to a new layer and just stretch it right across until you get a perfect clean line.
Oh, okay, that's probably easier than fiddling with the clone stamp.
Yep. Yeah, be very easy. Probably do it from the salmon side if you want.
Yeah.
Sure. Nicely done, Craig. What lens?
That was with a 24-105 at about 50 millimeters.
And you're shooting
at 7.1.
You're shooting straight down, and there's a window to the left. So are these on a table and you're on a ladder, or what?
These are on a very small table that's kind of shin height.
Okay.
Yeah, tiny little picnic table, I suppose. Yeah, and I'm standing on a chair, actually.
Yeah. Well, photographers falling over when they're shooting straight down like that is not unheard of. It happens way too often. So be careful when you're doing that stuff.
Yeah, I pushed the table. It was a fairly small table. It's only about 2 feet across. So I pushed it right up against the wall, and then when I stood over it, I actually had one hand on the wall and the other hand on the camera.
No, there you go.
So I wouldn't.
That's why it wasn't straight.
Yeah.
A mixture of fear of falling and holding that big camera with that heavy lens in one hand.
Yeah. So I actually upped the ISO a bit and shot it 1/60th of a second, so I could counteract any camera shake from it.
Excellent. Good job, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Dwayne's out sailing. Sailing.
Hi, Don. How are you?
Good, Dwayne.
I shot this picture in 2010 at a place called Boracay. It's famous for its white beach, and it's in a region in central Philippines called Visayas. When I first heard I was going there, I did some research on the internet and discovered that you could see these sailboats out there from the beach. So I visualized taking a picture like this of a boat and that I could take from the beach in the sun. So to do this, I brought along a tripod and a 500 millimeter lens, mirror and core, and I took the picture late afternoon. Well, actually, it was late afternoon of the second day, and I took this shot and a couple other nice ones.
Right into the sun, huh?
Into the sun.
Wow.
1,000th of a second at f8. Because mirror lens is f8.
Now you got the, sounds like you got the same one I have, the Nikon mirror lens.
Yes.
Yes. At least you never have to worry about f-stop on it.
No.
Nope. You never had, because it is an f8, folks. That is it. It's got one f-stop, f8. As the famous photojournalist said, f8 and be there. And there you go. Very, very nice, Dwayne. Very nice. Very cool. You didn't get any artifacts, huh? That's great. Usually, sometimes mirrors give you all kinds of crap, but it doesn't look like I see any crap here.
They give me donuts.
You got one little circle there, and that's just about it.
One little donut there. I didn't notice that.
Wow. Very fun. Are those catamarans? They look like catamarans.
No, it's just one hull.
One hull? Wow, very cool.
They have these outriggers.
Oh, okay. So it's a single hull with outriggers. Okay, got it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Very cool. Dwayne comes to us from the Philippines. Beautifully done, Dwayne. Very cool. Mr. Kern.
Hey, Don.
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Good. This is a interesting, mysterious photograph. It's like,
yeah.
Is it film?
No, but it kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
It does. It looks like pushed Tri-X or something.
Yeah, I shot that a long time ago with I think the first digital camera after I owned after I got back into photography. It was a D200 and a 18-200 kit lens. It was shot in Sacramento at an abandoned sugar mill.
What's the story behind it?
I was with a group of photographers, and the organizer had hired a few models, and this is, one of those organized shoots, and I was just trying to get back into photography and learn some stuff, and so I went along, and he was sitting up front, sitting on an old something, who knows what, and she was behind in the window light, and at that time I didn't have any equipment. I had a camera, a kit lens, and a pop-up flash. So, and of course, all the guys around me had all their fancy, I thought at the time, gear, and in retrospect, it really wasn't, but it looked like it to a rookie. So anyway, I just flipped up the pop-up flash on that to light his face up a little bit. That's the shot I got. And then, of course, it was in color. And I processed it in Nik Analog. And that's the result. I've showed it to a few other people. I don't think too many people like it, but I do. It's kind of mysterious, almost like the old black and white films you used to see. So
very cool. That's very cool, man.
It almost looks like infrared or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it kind of looks like, huh?
So I think part of it's probably the processing, because the way I processed it just dropped the blacks way down and brought the whites up.
I love that shadow across her face there. And that's window light plus a pop-up?
Yep.
Cool. You know, a lot of people don't like pop-ups. I like pop-ups.
Well, in certain situations they can come in
Yeah.
really handy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to use them every time for all things, but, now and then, they're not bad. You can do something kind of cool with them. The people who hate pop-ups all own ring flashes. Just ask yourself what that's about. So,
Well, I'll tell you what, I would shoot in the dark before I would use a ring flash.
I
Absolutely. I hate those catch lights. I mean, they make your model look like an alien.
yeah, I'm not a fan of. I had one way back in the day, and I had one 6-8 years ago. I had one of the buff ones, and I think I had it for 6 months and just sold it. I never used it because I didn't like it either. Jay got to go to the wave. We are all very envious of Jay.
It took a bunch of times to get there. So
How many times did you put in?
Well, we did you can do a internet lottery, which we did about 3 times. You pay your money, I think, and then they have this lottery periodically once a month, I think, and they select. There's a total of, I think, 20 or 40 people that could go in there a day.
Yeah,
and they
I think it's 20.
A certain amount by internet, and they pick a certain amount of people who actually show up at Kanab at the park ranger station or the BLM station. And this was a friend of mine was very, very persistent, and she was down there at Kanab we went up there with the design to get in there, and it turns out we got the last 2 slots of the 20. So we were the winners. And then you see the other people sort of standing around saying, shall we go back tomorrow? It's not in the middle of a lot. It's in the middle of nowhere. So you just have to have some luck and persistence, but that's what pays.
Well, it's a beautiful
but it's odd, like there were people from Japan, and you never know who's going to be the people that are out there with you. It's very
it's world famous,
pure chance.
And
oh yeah,
is it
up in the Vermilion Cliffs area? And if
right.
I'll just say that, and then I'll remind you that Google has satellite footage of it. So if you're up late at night and you want to kind of see, go and look for it. You'll find it, because even from 30,000, 50,000 feet, it's still incredible. You'll find it. Just look for Pariah Canyon and go southwest.
Yeah, it's a little west of the Vermilion Cliffs. You go down this little road, and there's on one side is the road, the path to the wave, and the other side is some of the other canyons out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other ones you can go to with no permit. This one is they're very restrictive. But this one was it was a fairly sunny day. It was sunny with clouds, but most of the images that I've seen are in color, and I wanted to do something a little differently, so I took it and ran it through Nik in black and white, and then highlighted it, I think using Pro Contrast. This is about 2012, and it was done with a Tokina 1224 lens, which is a good lens at a very low ISO of 100.
Yeah.
So I think technically it worked out very nicely, but I think the equipment was just about right.
Yeah, very nice. Beautiful shot, Jay.
Thank you. I'm very pleased with it. This one, this is a made shot, so I'm really, I like it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I vow to. I have a place above my piano, and there's 3 older pictures hanging there. I'm not going to put a new picture there until I can get a shot of the wave. That's what's going to.
Well, go in with somebody that is a good partner, because it's not an easy hike. It's only about a 3-mile hike in either direction. But the directions are really scant.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And you can get lost very easily.
It's not like there's a path. You're just on rock.
Right. If you gotta sort of sift out where the rocks are and where the path is. It's not easy, actually. And then on the way back, you only carry what you carry in is what you carry out, and you carry water in, and that's what you have. And if it's hot, any degree, but this was in August, if it is hot, which it started to be in the 90s, you're running out of water, and then the last half mile or a mile is pretty darn tough. So need to go with somebody who's a good hiker and carries good water.
Hey Jay, have you printed this?
No, I haven't.
I would suggest, if you do decide to print it, that you go into your clouds and clean up the spots. I can see 2 of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good on that. Oh, I see one there and one up there. Okay.
Yeah. Because I had to do that for the show, it was like, I see those things before probably anybody else.
Which
I can believe it.
One of the nice things about shooting wide open, if you just spend the rest of your life shooting 2.8, you'll never see that crap. It's just
Well, thanks for pointing that out. I would not have noticed. I just thought it was a natural.
Yeah, you would have gotten the print back, and you would have said, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah. You may not see them on the screen, but when you have a print in your hand, your eye go right to it, right to them every single time.
Well, thank you. I will do that. I'll do that, and I'll print one up, and I'll report back.
That'd be great. Beautiful.
If you're doing any processing in Lightroom, the Visualize Spot tool is really helpful.
Visualize Spot tool.
Yeah. When you
the other thing you can do is just do that in curves, make a really radical adjustment curve, up, down, up, down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah.
But 90% of the time I can get them with the Visualize Spot tool in Lightroom. So.
Well, I will do that. If not, you just take it into Photoshop and just use
well, you'll see. They're saying if you want to see them easier, just create a dramatic curves, and all these little anomalies like this will just jump off the page. You can notate where they are on a new layer with a red marker, and then take it back to your regular curves adjustment, and then you'll know where those spots are. You can just clean them up with the healing brush in half a second.
Yeah, and then you just throw the curves layer away. It's just a helper layer.
Yeah, just a helper.
You can put it at the top of your stack and just turn it on and off. You don't even have to circle them. Just go in there, fix them, turn it on, turn it off. You'll pick them up. It's pretty simple.
All right.
Very nice.
So what's the name of it's a visualization spot?
If you go into the edit tools on Lightroom and click on the round brush symbol, along the bottom frame, you'll see something that looks like a checkbox that says Visualize Spots. And if you check that, it will show you almost an inverse image. And you can see where the dots are, where you've got dirt on your sensor and stuff.
Okay, in edit, huh?
Yeah. I'll do a little video thing later and post it up for you.
Okay, that'd be helpful. Thank you.
And here we have Karen.
Hello.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm good.
This is Karen Jansak. She's a new Project 52 member, so jumping in on this right away. Pretty cool. And
thanks.
What's Obi-Wan Kenobi doing down there?
He's beaming up. I don't think they do that on Star Wars, but yeah, that's my husband. He was trying to get me to walk out there with him on that path, and it was pitch dark black, and I was like, there's bears and there's mountain lions out there. I'm not going. So I told him to go out there so I could take a picture.
Wow. And is that one of those really super heavy duty flashlights?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he works for the light company, so I think that's one they use.
Cool.
And that's at Big Bend National Park, and that's probably the most photographed feature at the park, and that's at the window. And I'm a very new photographer. I'd had my camera about 4 months when I took that picture, and that was taken in September last year.
And so this is you're a new photographer, and you're out doing night photography, high ISO, and this was pitch black. So this is all lit basically by the star.
My ISO was actually 200.
Long exposure.
30-second exposure.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I've just got a little bit of trailing in the stars.
Yeah, I was surprised she didn't have more stars trailing at 30. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you can see them up here. Yeah, right, especially on the edges. What lens was this, Karen?
I don't know how to say it. Rokinon?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 14 millimeter.
Oh, those are wonderful. We were talking about that in the advanced class. Those are manual focus lenses, folks. But the key to it is remembering that at f8, you're in focus from 5 feet to infinity. So or actually no, 5.6 from 5 feet to infinity, you're in focus. So why do you need to even bother? Just throw it on infinity and shoot, because you're probably in focus with it.
Well, I appreciate that, because I have a hard time shooting with it unless I'm doing night vision, and I've got it on infinity.
It's on infinity because when we're in the next Project 52 class, remind me, Karen, and I'll show you the depth of field calculator. It's online. You can look up the lens, and it'll tell you, like at 5.6, it's like 5 feet or 6 feet from the lens to infinity. So if you put it on infinity, everything from infinity all the way to 5 feet from the lens is in focus. So you don't even, and the difference in price, by the way, folks, between that lens and the Canon 14 millimeter, which has autofocus, which we now know is kind of like a sham. It has autofocus and everything, is like $2,000. And this one's like $400, I believe. $450, something like that at Amazon.
Yeah, I think that's what I paid for it.
And they're great, sharp lenses. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Leonardo, hands at work.
Hi, Don.
Hi.
I shot this 6 years ago. Previously, I've been, throughout my life, I've been taking picture of flowers, sunset, landscape, cityscapes, and this was actually one of the first times that I tried my hand at working. This is my neighbor. He's a farrier, and we just one afternoon, I was bugging him that I wanted to take picture while he was, doing his work. So one August 2011, we just went out. I stayed 2 hours with him, and I brought tons of beautiful photographs. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at this. And so I kind of got a bug of taking photographs of working people and people in general, from just landscape and nature. So that was a turning point for me. Definitely, this has been heavily edited with Nik software. All the points to be able to have the dark, not overexposed, not underexposed. So I use Nik silver effect heavily, just to make sure all the exposures, all the gradients were correct. He didn't pause in here. He's just paused in between work. He just paused for a millisecond. And that was one of the many shots I took. It's more like a still life, it looks like, while it's
timeless. It's a timeless photograph.
So.
And part of that timelessness is the choice that you made black and white. Because once it goes black and white, we're not distracted by the color of the apron or the color of the anvil or what color the wall was painted back there. I mean, I don't know the shot in color, but I mean, it could have been, orange with a blue leather thing and a pink shirt and all this crap. Once you go to black and white, it removes all of that distraction and we're right down to the simplicity of the photograph. I love black and white for that very reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I was pulling all my favorite photographs for Project 52, the second class, and the second assignment, and I pulled down like 10 of them. Every single one of them was a black and white. Every single photograph that I was in love with, they were all black and white. So
I wouldn't doubt it for a minute, because probably 7 out of 10 of mine would be black and white. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really a nice shot. This would be a beautiful shot printed as well.
Yeah, I printed it. I had it, in cafes and galleries and banks and all that kind of stuff. They don't, unless you have a name, people look at it and they.
You know how you get a name?
No, how you do it?
You just do it. The only difference between artists who have a name and the rest of us who don't do it is we don't proclaim ourselves artists, we don't act like artists, and we don't treat our work like artists. They're no different. They're not special people. They put their jeans on the same way we do. They go to the bathroom. They have bad days and good days. They just declare that they are artists and treat their work like they are artists. You'll rarely find an artist giving their work away because they'll say no. I mean, you have to pay for it. Exclusivity. Seriously, just think about it. All you have to do is proclaim yourself an artist, then act like an artist, actually be an artist, right? And that's it. You may not get accepted into a gallery, but you have a better shot at that than saying, oh yeah, I take pictures on the weekends, or I'm a commercial photographer, or that kind of stuff. That's an automatic closing of the door. Declare your art, declare your worthiness, and move forward. If this is not lost on a lot of us, if you do it, or let's say you don't do it. You just, we all just continue doing what we're doing. In 10 years, we'll be exactly the same spot. If we do it and they don't accept us, where would we be different? We'll still be at the same spot, right? So
yes,
might as well go for it. Might as well go for it, man. Absolutely. Push on.
You are my mentor in more than one way. Thank you, Don.
You bet, my friend.
How do you act like an artist then?
Well, an artist appreciates their own work. An artist values their work. Would you walk in? Who's speaking now?
This is Fong.
Oh, Fong. Would you go to a gallery right now with your work and say, I think you should hang my work?
Some of it, yeah.
Huh? What did you say?
Some of it.
Some of it?
Some of it, yeah.
Are you sure?
I think it's worthy, but I don't have the guts to do it.
Okay, here's two things. Number one, you don't have the guts to do it, so you're not acting like an artist. And number two, you think it's worthy. Artists know it's worthy. They just do. When you're around those people, I mean, that's why they're many times are considered arrogant, right? Or they're considered narcissistic or self-aggrandizing. Yeah, because if you don't do it, no one else will do it. That's what you do. You put together your 15 pieces and you walk out and start going into galleries. You look like an artist, you act like an artist, you're absolutely sure. When they say, "Oh gosh, these are nice. We'll put them in our gallery and we'll give you 15%." You go, "No, I get 40%," and you pack your stuff up and leave. That's what an artist does. The rest of us will go, "Okay, well, 15%. Yeah, I'll get my foot in the door." No, you're not going to do that. I've told you guys about going and being a fashion photographer in New York. The worst thing you can do is accept back of the pages, back of the magazine assignments. Because once you accept a back of the magazine assignment, you're always back in the magazine. There's never been a back of the magazine photographer ever moved to the front of the magazine. Just doesn't happen. You established what you're willing to do, and they put you in that box. So it just takes guts, and it takes absolutely being sure of what it is you want to do. I firmly believe we can do it. We'll talk more. We'll talk more about
Grimes,
it.
If you're familiar with Joel Grimes,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
How he defines himself is exactly that way.
Exactly.
He defines himself as an artist, and every decision that he makes is an artistic decision. It's not a technical decision. It's an artistic decision, and that's his universe. So he wouldn't recognize himself any other way. And it's very different if you hear him speak. It's very different to hear him speak when he talks that way, because you don't hear anybody else speak that way, or very rarely.
Every artist I know refers to themselves as an artist. And I know so many photographers who go, well, I'm not, I don't know if I'd call it art. Well, there you go. If you're not sure you're going to call what you do art, the rest of the world isn't going to do it for you. They're going to just,
Yeah, I mean, he was encouraging everyone else in the room to call themselves artists.
You got to turn up the volume and hit that horn. Whose shot is this? This is Melissa Vaughn. Hi, Melissa Vaughn. Wow, that's cool.
Okay, can you hear me now? I think I had accidentally muted myself.
I can hear you just fine.
Well, you were talking about black and white earlier, about it removing the distracting colors, and that's what I did here. This is a very bright sugar skull makeup. It has purples and hot pinks, and her garment is also very bright. And I'm finding more and more that I like really harsh and strong lighting patterns the more I shoot. And so anyway, we were doing a friend and I were doing a shoot for a makeup school, and they wanted some things and we wanted a day to play, and so it kind of worked out together. And my friend is more studio, so she did like the studio setup, and then they're in a building. I wish they'd been in a prettier part of downtown Dallas, but they were in a building in Dallas, and there wasn't a whole lot around it, but there was a staircase right behind it. And the day before, when we delivered our stuff, I saw the lighting pattern that the stairs made, and I waited till the right time of day, and this is shot with the light streaming through the stairs, the wall behind the stairs.
Nice. Super high contrast. Day of the Dead makeup. I love what's in the hair. What are those, flowers or petals or what?
Yes, it was like a headpiece that the makeup artist had made with hydrangeas and several other different flowers.
So pink.
And so they're like pink and pale purple and white.
Boy,
Yeah.
would this shot look really different if we were sitting here looking at a girl with pink in top of her head?
Oh yeah, and the color above her eyes is lime green. Like there's little highlights above her eyes in lime green and hot pink. So it is a very different shot in color.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it would be a bad shot. It's just a different shot in color. Different in color, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, this is a very nice shot, Melissa. Very cool.
Thank you.
You scoped out that light and got back in there and did it. What did you do in post? Because you really crushed the darks. The shadows are just black.
I played with it in Lightroom, and then I took it into Photoshop and darkened it, like darkened the darks, and then overlaid them and kind of erased back, and masked out her face and some detail in her top and her hair, and then but still tried to keep the detail in the concrete wall, the texture in the wall behind her too, because I like the detail there. I didn't want to totally lose the texture in the wall.
Yeah, very nice. Super. Well thought. You thought this shot all the way out, didn't you?
Yes. I was really excited that she had this makeup on, because we also did her as Frida, the same model as Frida. And then they did the Sugar Skull makeup, and that just happened to be the right time of day. And I thought it looked kind of played really well with the whole Day of the Dead, really dark eye kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many metaphors with the light and streaks and all, coming out of the darkness. And yeah, cool. I could see that on the cover of an album or a cover of a book.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Exactly. Joy.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Joy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Stick 302, huh?
Stock 302.
Oh, stock 302. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it said stick when I first met him too, but it's stock.
Is it automatic or does it have a stick?
It's an automatic.
Oh, okay. Darn it.
Yeah. That's basically an original 302 Mustang, but yeah, this was on the last day of the year, December 31st, this past year. I was in California visiting my dad, and just went out to run some errands, and I saw this Mustang drive by, and I'd never seen a Mustang like this one that had the California special on the side of it. And I kind of chased him down through a couple of stoplights and pulled up next to him, and just like, hey, I really like your car. I'd love to do a photo shoot sometime. Would that be possible? And he said, hell yeah. And so very next morning we met, and it was overcast and everything. We went out all over Riverside in California and shot his car, and this was the last shot of the day. And it's funny how it seems like a lot of times when you do these shoots, like the last shot is like your favorite one. And so this one just, I just liked how the mountains were in the back, and we had the really dramatic clouds, and
you got a really dramatic surface too.
Yeah. We're just on top of a parking garage in downtown Riverside.
Wow. Neat. Cool shot. Very cool shot. What did you use?
This is my 2470 at f10 ISO 200. And just obviously just natural light. So, but it was just fun how things like that work out, and riding around with him all day, and listening to him tell me about the story of him and his dad finding this car and in the yard of some old lady, and they completely restored it from the ground up themselves, and then on the kid's 18th birthday, his dad handed him the keys. So
nice.
And I don't know if you know much about these, but California Special was I guess California was the number. They were selling like more than 20% of all Mustangs from Ford, and so they demanded in 1968 that they make a special edition just for California. So
that's
cool. Got it.
Is that like a scoop there on the side in front of the wheel?
It is. It's a non-functioning scoop. It's just for looks.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they stole some of the that scoop and the tail lights from the GT500 that was out that year as well, or GT350, I should say, the GT350 from that period, and just kind of combined it just to give California what they wanted.
What did you do in post? It looks desaturated.
Yeah, I took the saturation down. I don't know if I like that quite as much. I was curious to see what other people thought of it. But yeah, I did bring it down. I used the Nik software, used the bleach bypass, and then I went over the car with a brush in Lightroom and brought up the clarity of the paint and the metal trimmings and all that.
Really nicely done, Joy.
Thank you.
Cool car shot. Cool.
The reflections are really well done because they emphasize the shape and they don't turn into any kind of clutter. That's hard to do, I think.
Yeah, and I love that the car is this blue color, and then everything around is so muted, but warm. Yeah. But warm, orange. We got a little bit of warmth here. Got a little bit of warmth in the wall. We got warm trim. We got warm stuff up here. So this cool car just pulls itself out of that background so well. Lovely.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Lovely. Richard.
Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Richard. You've got great super shallow depth of field. Looks like it was shot with a large format camera. I don't believe it was, though.
No, it wasn't. It was a crop factor Canon 70. So with a long lens.
How long?
150.
Okay. Wow.
It's crop. It's multiplied with 1.6 for this camera.
Very nice.
It was playtime for me because I still struggle with having light do what I want it to do sometimes, and in this case,
and trust me when I tell you that that goes away never.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. We always struggle with it.
So in this case, I looked at a lot of portraits. In this case, from David Bailey, and I wanted to recreate the portrait. I wanted to match the light and change up that light from that point on. So I chose one portrait. He did from, what's the name of this guy? It's Damon Albarn. And that was my starting point, and dabbled around with that. Just one light up above, and ended up using a silver reflector to camera right, and then post-processed in Lightroom. It's basically just in Lightroom, black and white conversion done manually to have control over every single channel. And that's basically it. And I like the way it turned out. This the harshness, the harsh shadows in the face, and the plain background. I think it's a nice difference.
The lighting. What did you end up using?
It's an umbrella up top.
Okay, high up. So we're just getting a little corner of it, grabbing in the eye there.
Yeah. What you see in the eye is the pop-up flash from the camera.
It reminds me not as so much of David Bailey as Skrebneski.
I thought so too. Yeah, that's the one picture I was looking at from Bailey that I thought it almost looks Skrebneski-like.
Yep, very much. Cool shot, Richard.
Thank you.
Well done. Oh my goodness, whose is this? So Fong.
Hi, Don.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
What a delicate little still life this is.
It's death and beauty and death.
Is it window light or strobe?
It's no, it's actually speed light on the Rapid Box, the 26-inch Rapid Box on the high up on the right side. So it's just one light, and then I use a white card on the left side just to light up the feathers just a little bit more.
You know, do you know what photographer this reminds me of?
No.
Robert Mapplethorpe. Just the
Mapplethorpe.
Mapplethorpe, one of the greatest. Robert Mapplethorpe. He shot flowers and nudes, and it just sort of reminds me of the delicacy of his lighting, which was all done with. He did not use window light. He did not use natural light. He lit everything because he stayed up all night and slept all day. He did all of his work at night with scrims and hot lights and such. But Mapplethorpe, Mapplethorpe. But it just has that little bit of light right here, the vignette that's around it. It's just a lovely piece. Very sad, very melancholy. What made you choose to do this?
Well, I got up one morning and I opened the back porch door, and I saw this bird on the back porch. So I think one of the neighbor's cat must have left it there.
Ah, okay.
And I looked at the bird, and it was somewhat, I was sad, but it looked so peaceful.
Yep.
Yeah. And I thought I should photograph it so that it doesn't die in vain somewhat.
Well, there's always that dichotomy. Boy, I'm trying to think of the photographer that shoots all the dead animals. Someone's gonna. Paula, do you know who I'm talking about? I believe is a New Orleans, Louisiana photographer. Shoots Joel Peter Whitkin. Joel Peter Whitkin. We're not going to bounce out today. We'll do that at another time. I want to stay focused on our images here. But Joel Peter Whitkin, look that up, Sofong.
Okay.
Very interesting art photographer. Lovely photograph. Quite melancholy. Well, what lens did you end up using?
This was the 50 mm.
Okay.
I think it's at f9. Yeah.
Very cool. Lovely.
I did a series of the same bird, and I did 6 different shots of it. And then the next week, I went to the state park, and I found a dead squirrel on the road. So I did a few more shots of that dead squirrel too.
Oh my!
Same style.
But
I couldn't find any.
Your neighbors are going to start looking at you funny when you bring dead animals home. So, if you ever find a cow or anything hit on the side of the road, think it through. Okay, just think it through.
I saw a skunk, but I
no, we're not going there.
I think I disagree with Don. I love this. If you find a dead cow, figure out a way to get it home. These are fabulous.
Oh, I can just see her going up the sidewalk going, hey, could you guys help me bring this dead cow into the studio? Oh my.
This is beautiful. It really is.
Yeah, it is. Beautiful all the way through. Virginia is not here. Oh, Virginia.
She posted in the Facebook group she had to step out.
Oh, okay. I wonder if she's going to step back in. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. We'll come back after we look at Eric's here. Mr. Eric.
Hello, Don and everyone.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Smoking a pipe.
Yep, I'm smoking that pipe right now, as a matter of fact. It's a self-portrait did last February 2016. I got one gridded softbox off on the right and a reflector on the left. and was in the mood to play around with smoke. And that's one of the things that attracts me to it. And I was playing with low key and just trying to figure out lights, because it had been just a few months prior to that I got into photography. So did that Project 365 thing, self-portrait every day for a year. Didn't finish the last 3 weeks because I got busy doing this Project 52 stuff, and that kind of eclipsed that.
Okay, very cool. The gridded softbox.
20 by 30, something like that.
We can see the grid.
Yeah. And the processing was just in Lightroom. I didn't have Photoshop at the time. Went in, played with the channels, and worked the brush on the eyes and things like that.
Now, the smoke, is that actually the smoke from the pipe, or did you... Oh, yeah, you said you did it in Lightroom, so it has to be the smoke from the pipe.
Yeah, it was the actual smoke in the pipe, yeah.
That's interesting that it comes out and does that.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's a big attraction to that particular image. It's just the smoke is so interesting. And I kind of like low-key stuff anyways. I was certainly in that mood for a period of months.
So you mentioned that you shot this when?
February of 2016.
And you had just started being a photographer?
I guess it would have been, I think October of the previous year. So a few months, yeah.
Oh my goodness, Eric, you've come a long ways, my friend.
Thank you. I've had an interest in photography way back since junior high school, but it was too expensive for a kid, for me anyways.
And you're up in Chico, right?
No, I'm Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield, Missouri. All right. Yeah, you've done very well, man. Good job.
Thank you.
How far is Springfield from Kansas City?
No, it's probably about 180, 200 miles. It's about a 3.5 hour drive.
That's
same to St. Louis.
That's going to be your ad center. Kansas City's got some big ad agencies. I mean, big ad agencies.
Really?
That's good to know.
Yeah, Kansas City. It's far enough away from Chicago, New York, LA, and Dallas that they ended up having to have their own big regional agencies. They've got some huge agencies in Kansas City.
I did not know that.
Nice.
This is good to know for the planned summers in Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, I did a shot for one of the resorts here, and this shows you why you should always do your research. Got a phone call from an art director who'd seen my page in the workbook, those things that used to come out once a year, and she negotiated a full day of shooting people around this resort, culminating in one last big picture with 14 models standing right in front of the waterfall, with the waterfall coming over the top of them. And it was a big shoot. Rented lights, we even had security there to keep people away from the set, because we had strobes with strobe wires hung over. They could have fallen into the pool if someone had knocked them over. Never a good idea to send a 2,000 pack Norman plugged into the wall into the pool with people in the pool. So that was it was a huge thing. And I was sitting and I was talking to her, and I was thinking, Kansas City, some podunk backwater place. And I said, so how big's the agency? She goes, well, we're not that big. We're about 8th or 9th in Kansas City. And I said, oh, that's cool. How many employees? She goes, 375. They had 55 art directors at that agency. I don't know if we had 55 art directors in Phoenix at the time. Biggest ad agency in Phoenix was 9 people with 2 art directors. The biggest ad agency by volume. And so I kind of went, oh, yeah, that's awesome. Stayed in touch with them. I had several good jobs from Kansas City. Several different agencies there gave me jobs that were out here, and some really big shooters in Kansas City as well. Big time shooters. So very nicely done, Eric. Good job. Holds us in. Did Virginia come? Oh, I'm sorry. Virginia is told me she's been working on, instead of dropping out the depth of field, but bringing it in. Not as in this particular case, not as, so it's fully focused, but not dropping it out as much as she could have. And I think this is a lovely shot, Virginia. I wish you were here to tell us about it. Darn it. All right. It's just a really pretty, I love it. It's a very timeless black and white photograph, especially with the centering of the head right here and letting all this negative space with the flowers float above her. Okay. And since we're doing the Sal Sincata School of doing events, I win with my picture.
Oh my God, John.
I'm gonna give myself a beer. Anyway,
get a year subscription to Pro 52, I believe.
I think I actually get I win, so I get to take the baby to daycare tomorrow. Yes.
Yes.
So Brett remembers taking this picture with me. Remember this, Brett? This was up in the Cascades.
Yeah, that was a great day.
A great day. Brett, Jan, and I. Brett, Charles, and I. Wasn't Jan? Yeah. Charles, right? Brett, Charles, my friend Charles, and I went driving around, and it was kind of overcasty coming out. And I saw this, and I just love the way the light came from the back. This has always been one of my all-time favorite shots because to me there's kind of a story. It's almost a Hobbit kind of photograph, and I love it. So I love the these two trees splitting off, and then this one laying sideways. Just everything brings our eye right back to this center area. And I've tried it in black and white as well, but I do like it in color. So, all right, very fun, super fun. You guys like doing this?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I would have liked it better if I had remembered that I needed to turn in a photo.
Well, be that as it may, we will do this again, and I'm going to tap a couple of my friends here and see if we can get some outside eyes. Wouldn't that be fun? Do this. Anybody have anything they want to add? A lot of fun. Thank you so much. I'll keep this link open, and I will take the recording and put it right down here at the bottom. So those people who come and see this page can jump in and listen to an hour and a half of us babble on about photography. Can't beat that. Can't beat that at all. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you,
John.
Thank you, Don.
Good night.
Hi, everyone.
Good night.